What's going on, guys? We are here with Logan Workman. He is playing now with the Tampa Bay Rays. Old catcher, now pitcher. We got an interesting story here. Division II guy. What's going on, my man? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's start with that a little bit. You were in a Division II school at Lee University. How was that process for you?
So that was fun. I mean, I knew Lee. I knew the school just being close to home. It was 45 minutes away. We actually played in the county for district games in high school, so I knew a lot about Lee. We knew some guys from Chattanooga went there, and my pitching coach, my senior year, just said, "Hey, man, like we've built you up to this point. We want you to go to a showcase at Lee." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean that's great. I hadn't been to a showcase. I've never been to a camp like that, so I might as well go." I knew it was close to home, so I knew maybe the coaches kind of had an idea of, hey, he's the local guy, maybe this is something that'll help. And from that point on, Lee became home. I never made a step foot on campus until I got the opportunity to go on the visit. So I'd never seen campus, never met any professors or anything other than the head coach our head coach, Coach Brew. Met him the first day at the camp and didn't really know who he was other than he was the head coach. And from that point on, once I threw in that showcase, had an offer to go on the visit on Monday, which was a Saturday to Monday, and I committed on Saturday.
Oh, wow. That was a quick transition for you. And why'd you end up going there? Is it because of the local side or?
It was a little bit of the local side. It was a little bit of the fact that I just felt at home. I'm not a homebody by any means. I mean, obviously I'm 10 and a half hours away down here, but being close enough to home, I knew my family could come and watch at any point in time, and didn't have to worry about travel and this and that. And if I needed to go home or needed anything, I could do that. But I also had that distance away from home that I could still be on my own and do my own thing. But being on campus felt right at home. Like the second I got on there, I knew what I wanted in my degree. I knew they had the stuff for it. The professors were great. I met a couple of them in the education department when I first stepped foot. All the coaches were incredible, and it just made me feel right at home. I went on a couple other visits. Not to say that the coaches weren't great on those visits, but I just didn't feel right when I went to those schools. Other than when I went to Lee, I felt right at home.
Absolutely, man, and that's so important. It's that culture that they're building is part of what's going to make you successful. So I'm so glad that you were able to kind of figure that out from an early stage. And during that process for you, as you kept playing through your years, how was the draft process and how was the getting picked up and all that, coming from a Division II school? How did you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, we knew going into it, when I went on my visit, their last words out of their mouth before they offered the scholarship and said, hey, this is the amount of time we want to hear from you. Their words were, we don't expect you here 4 years. And that kind of shocked me because I was like, I'm in high school. Like I'm not, I have no intentions right now of getting drafted. I have no scouts on me. Like I'm just kind of a above average high school pitcher going to school. And when they said that kind of clicked to me, like, hey, if they're saying that now as a senior in high school that hasn't stepped foot on a college field, there's something there that I just have to find it. So for 2 or 3 years of playing ball, playing summer ball, working out, just growing, developing, I used that to better my game, to know that the opportunity that I have here could come true. And I just had to make sure that I had it, because not to say the Division II players are overlooked in a little bit, but in some ways I think they are, because of the Power Five and the name. And I think that at a Division II level, you have to, not to say you have to outwork somebody that goes to a Division I school, but you have to outwork maybe yourself of what you think that you're doing. And for me, that was what I did. I tried to outwork every day of what I did the day before to prove that, hey, this is where I need to be, and I have that opportunity to get that.
No, absolutely. And was there anything that kind of clicked? Like, during that process for you, did you just progressively get better year by year, or was there like a click moment, or how did that go for you?
Yeah, so after my freshman or sophomore year, I got an opportunity to go to the Coastal Plain League.
Okay.
Very, very good league. You have your Cape, you have your Northwoods, and you have your CPL. CPL Northwoods always fighting for which is better, who has the better schedule, who has the better teams. So I got an opportunity to go there, and I kind of got pushed a little bit because I went from a closer to a starter 8 games into the season my sophomore year and became the starter for game 2, and then I'd switch to game 1 and game 3. So I got challenged to say, hey, I need you to mature a little bit. I need you to develop more. I need you to find your second and third pitch, and I need you to hone in on those 3 pitches. And I took that and ran with it. And when I walked into my summer league coach, Coach Roundtree, that man had pushed me to the top. Dave Brown, same thing. Both those guys pushed me to that point, going into my junior year of being the best that I can be. And I told them, I said, I need 3 pitches. I am a starter at school. I want to be a starter. This is what I need. And they said, okay, we're going to help you. That summer was arguably, other than maybe my junior season cut short COVID, that was my best season. In my opinion, was my best season. And I think that's just skyrocketed me to develop.
Changed your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
How important is the summer ball for you guys? I feel like, from my experience, there's a lot of players that, oh man, I got to go play summer ball. They're you have this different, unless you're going to the Cape or like a huge, that, they're like all pumped up. But how did you take that approach, and how did you get better through that?
In my mind, I went to school with guys that had that same mentality of, oh gosh, I got to go to summer ball. And I was like, dude, go play summer ball. It's another city. You travel, you get to eat, you get to play baseball all day. It's everyday thing. Why not take advantage of that? And I looked at that from a different standpoint, because I had a lot of guys that were thinking, well, I'm not getting drafted. I'm not doing this. I'm working after 3 years, 4 years, whatever the case is. And for me, yeah, I had that mindset of, hey, I want to get drafted. I can get drafted. I'm going to get drafted. So I ran with it. I was like, hey, summer ball, more opportunities to throw. CPL, CPL, we're getting a bunch of guys from Tennessee and Clemson and Vanderbilt and Georgia and all these Power 5 schools to come play in the CPL. And I'm, a Division II guy that can compete with them at the highest level. Why not show that? Kind of get that, like you said, exposure, getting that opportunity to go do that. So I just ran with it and was actually excited every year that I got to go play summer ball.
Absolutely, man. And for you, the transition, I know when we talked a little bit earlier, you were a catcher mostly throughout high school, but then you became an arm. Do you feel like being a catcher helped you during that transaction, or how was that for you?
Yeah, I think I strengthened my arm a lot by doing that. I think
took care of it a little bit too.
Not having to throw as much. My senior year, I only had 33 innings, so I don't have a lot of mileage on my arm coming out of high school going into college, especially even in college too, where it was a closer for almost a year and a half to start the season. So I didn't have when I started as a starter my sophomore year, I think I had up to about 40 innings total.
That's a little bit.
Yeah, 40 innings in a year and a half. So I got that my junior year in 1/2 COVID season. So I was like, I've still got a lot of mileage on my arm left in a good side, where I didn't have to use all of that my first 2 years, 3 years. So having that, being able to build that strength up, having everything kind of laid out in front has put me to this point.
Absolutely. So then we fast forward, and now you're here with the Rays.
Yeah.
And how has that transaction been for you? And how is pro ball so different from college ball?
I think the biggest thing that me and my roommates have talked about, and having that look, because we've all graduated, is you don't have to deal with school anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing for us, is that you come out here every day, start at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're done by 12, 1 o'clock, maybe 2 at the latest. If you have a game like we have today, 3, 4 o'clock, but you got here early, you got your work in, you're just chilling, and you're just doing most of that throughout the day and not having to worry about weights and studying and tests and all sorts of papers. And it's just an opportunity for you to relax and just understand that not very many people get to do this. The chances of you getting to do this are, out of college, out of high school, whatever the percentage is, it's less than 15% of players go play professional baseball. So taking that and running with it and saying, hey, I get an opportunity to be here, take advantage of it. But but you're also kind of getting that just relaxing point of, it's baseball. you get to have fun.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that you just mentioned there was there's no exams, there's none of that outsourced stress. So there's less overnight, all-nighters you have to spend to try to get that exam or get that task done. So it means you can sleep a little bit more. That means you can actually rest your body, do all your recovery stuff, make sure you're doing your prehab, all the things that should help you on the field, what has been some of the things that here with the Rays have been kind of teaching you or talking you guys through in the pitching side? What's a big philosophy here with the Rays?
Their philosophy for everybody is kind of similar. We want you to develop 3 pitches. We want you to develop 2 of your main pitches, whatever the case is. But they don't force their main philosophy on you, other than the game aspect of, hey, we want to get ahead. We want to get to, shut them down with 2 strikes, first pitch strikes. That's kind of like a baseball everything. They kind of build their philosophy around you, individually. Whereas we have one guy that he might be heavy sinker, and we want to start something there, versus a guy with heavy carry. And they develop around you, not what they want you, like what they think. So it's an opportunity for you to grow and just build you as a person, as a pitcher, rather than having to build yourself around their mentality and their philosophies.
And that's huge, man, because the fact that you are you, right?
Yeah.
You can't try to change who you are for somebody else. And the fact that they're allowing you to be the best version of you that you can be is huge. What are some of the things that you've been personally trying to work on in this spring training and kind of going to take with you for the rest of the season coming up?
Just developing 3 pitches. I've started working on the 4th pitch as a cutter. It's there, it's not there. Trying to be consistent with it is the biggest thing for me, but consistency with 3 pitches will be something that'll be able to carry me through, and maybe hope to push up and keep rising in the organization. But just consistency, carry on fastballs, just developing as a pitcher, knowing that the reason you're here isn't to continue growing, it's to develop where the reason they brought us here. And that was their first words, as they said, you are here for a reason, not to prove to us anything. You've already proven everything. That's why you're here.
It's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually heard anybody directly say that. And that takes a little bit of pressure off.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much about, hey, what's my performance today, but it's how can I get better today?
Yeah.
Which, that takes a lot of pressure off, because it's just, okay, 1% better today, 1% better tomorrow. By the end of the year, I should be at a different level, which is huge, For you have a very powerful arm. How have you been able to develop that arm?
Strength and just being able to get in the weight room. We had a really good strength and conditioning program and training staff at Lee, and they were able to do that and keep us healthy and be able to, if we needed anything or any type of treatment, we were able to get that. And I think that's part of the same thing that's helped us here, is our strength and conditioning coaches and our training staff are incredible. You go in, it's not that you go in and you say, hey, I'm not feeling good, what can I do for here or there, and they sit you out. It's what can I do to get you back onto the field healthy, and that's kind of what I've taken from that, is saying, hey, I don't have to worry about being scared of going in and being shut down for 2, 3, 4 days, a week, a month even. It's that I go in, I need that treatment, that help, the stretching, anything like that, and they're trying to push you back out on the field because they don't want to see you hurt. They want to see you out on the field, because you being out on the field brings performance brings you money, brings them money, brings the organization money, and that's what they want at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. And I think that you brought up a very valuable thing. It's kind of that problem that we have between the old school and the new school about specifically the sports medicine side of it. That is, just because you're in the trainer's room getting an ice bath, rolling out, asking for an extra cupping or scraping doesn't mean you're hurt. It just means you're trying to make sure that you're 100% for your next start. And being able to be around an organization that understands that, as well as your college that understands that, is huge. And I'm glad that you're able to kind of realize that and work on that as well. How have you been able to do that? I know there's a lot of players out there that are scared to do that. Did they talk to you about that, or did you just kind of figured that out? How was that for you?
Talking to some of the guys here, some of the older guys, one of the guys we were able to get kind of close with out of he was a 2019 draft out of high school. We kind of got close with him, and he just kind of said, hey, listen, like, they're here. And they've talked to us before. The trainers have talked to us and said, hey, listen, we're not trying to keep you here. We're not trying to keep you down, keep you hurt. You know, we're trying to if you are hurt, we're going to try and get you back on the field as quick as possible, but we're also not going to rush you and get you hurt again. And that's kind of what he said at the same thing. He said, listen, we're going to try, and the trainers are helping you. And that's all you have to do is go in and ask. If you need it, they're going to help you. If you need it and they can't help you, they're going to try and find something that will help you. So that's where they've been since day one. When we walked in, and you've thrown for 2 days and you took almost a month off because of the draft coming into.
You're a little sore.
Yeah, you're a little sore, and you just walk in. You're like, you're kind of nervous, kind of scared to walk in the training room because, like, I'm not hurt. I just need that ice, or I need that rollout, or I need the scraping, cupping. But they're there to do that because they know, hey, he just got in here 2 days ago. We're going to help him out to get him back on the field because he's going to turn around in 3 days and start.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the last question I got for you might put you on the spot a little bit, but I want you to look at the camera, and if you could speak back to your 15, 16-year-old self, junior in high school, what would you tell yourself? You can take a second.
At the opportunity that you have coming for you, nobody's going to believe it. Growing up, I was looked at as second-class citizen, second-class baseball player. Nobody respected, and at the same time, I kind of didn't grow to that expectation yet because I was so young. I was small. I was still growing into my body. But even for myself, I kept my mouth shut. I did my job. I did what I needed to. For those who are listening for this, and you might think I have no opportunity, I'm in the same boat, I'm getting shut down because there's somebody better, somebody's running their mouth about you. If you keep your mouth shut, chin down, nose on the grind, this is the opportunity that you have. You can get here. And I had that in high school where I was shut down. I was looked at second. You know, we had guys that may have been better, but they didn't have the work ethic. They just had the ability. They had the mindset that they were better. They didn't have the humble attitude, and it ruined them. Yeah, it ruined them. I mean, they were really good baseball players, and they just didn't have that humble mentality at the end of the day that they knew they were good. People would tell them that they were good, but they didn't humble themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure you're seeing it a little bit more now, how much you have to be a professional to be in professional baseball. Like, it's not just being a ball player. It's you have to carry yourself like a professional. You have to do your day-to-day things, and you have to do everything. Yeah. You can't be getting in trouble outside the field and all those things, and that's pretty much what you're talking about, man. So, I mean, this was awesome. I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
brother.
you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode and learned something valuable from it. If you did, smash that like button as it helps us reach more people just like yourself. But before you go, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell notification, as my dedication to this YouTube channel and to this podcast is about to explode, and I don't want you guys to miss any of it out. So hit that bell notification, turn that subscriber on, and I know I said it backwards, but who cares? You guys know what I mean.